you're thinking about moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, I want you to watch this before you do anything else. There are 10 things about this area that catch people completely off guard. And if you can't handle these things, this place might not be for you. But if you can, this is going to be a really great place for you. Let's get into it. Number one, and I'm starting here on purpose, is the pollen. I don't mean you're going to sneeze a little bit in the spring. I mean your car turns completely yellow. Your patio furniture turns yellow. The walkway up to your house, your front steps, all completely yellow. Here's the kicker. You're gonna take your car immediately to the car wash and say, I gotta clean this stuff off. One day later, completely covered again. It basically runs from about March almost until May. So there's quite a time period. People who've never had a spring allergy move here and they find themselves heading to the pharmacy the first spring. Hey, Raleigh consistently comes up as one of the worst places for pollen in the whole country. The main offenders are the oak trees and the pine trees. There are days in March and April where the air is filled with a green and yellow haze. And here's what nobody warns you about. It's not just an annoyance. Yes, your car is going to be covered with pollen, but your kids are gonna be covered with pollen. Your spouse is gonna be covered with pollen. And as soon as you brush up against anything, anywhere outside, like touching your car door, your clothes will be covered in pollen. Get a really good routine for cleaning your car, if you can do that, or keep it in the garage. But as soon as you drive around, the pollen will get on everything. People adapt, but you need to walk into your first spring knowing that it's coming. The first year catches everybody off guard no matter where they come from. All right. Thing number two is the heat. Not just heat, but heat and humidity. We have southern heat here and it is hot and sticky. Now, for most of us, summer's a couple of months. Here in Raleigh, it's 3 solid months of heat and humidity in the 80% range. If you're moving from a dry climate like I did, I moved from California, it can be a bit of a shock. I knew it was gonna be warm. What I didn't know was stepping outside at noon is like a wall of warm, moist air. It's not like heat you can move through. It just sits on you and you'll be sweating and wanting to take a shower basically every few hours. The air conditioning bill in July and August is real. June, July, and August, all those months are definitely hot, and sometimes September too. It's tough to do outdoor activities or want to go out between 12 and 4 p.m. most days during the summer. But people learn to plan around it. They do errands in the morning, grocery shopping in the morning, pick up the kids after the heat is over, and get a sprinkler, get a hose, figure out ways to get cool. Hopefully you have a pool in your community. It's good to check those things out and make sure you can get to some water quickly because we are not near the beach. What's great is after the summer's done, we have a wonderful fall time. And the fall is beautiful with very colorful leaves hitting the ground and walkabout temperatures all day long. Carry a sweater with you, and that's what's coming after July and August. Thing number three is that Raleigh is not a big city. I know it sounds obvious when I say it out loud, but a lot of people do their research, look at the job numbers, the growth in the market, and make a move. They see Raleigh showing up on a top 10 best places to live consistently on lists all across the media in the country, and they figure it's a good place with high energy and a great metro. There is no real nightlife scene here. There's no major nightclubs, and there's great bars, restaurants, and breweries downtown. It's a great place to hang out. But by about 11 o'clock at night, most of the activity's done. Definitely no after hours venues or late night clubs that you'd want to party into the night. I laugh because it's just not that kind of place. If you're coming from LA, Miami, Chicago, New York City, then you might seriously want to consider, is this the lifestyle that you want to continue to, where you would like to still be in a high metro, high energy area? Now, on the other hand, a lot of people come here exactly for that reason. They don't want exciting nightlife, and maybe they're past that time in life, or it's definitely very family oriented, but they're not into the nightclub scene or lots of, late nights out on the weekend. I will tell you, they have great music venues. A lot of major artists come through the area, and you've got major music venues. So you've got a lot of activity and a lot going on. It's just not going to be the late night clubbing crowd. So if a buzzing city with lots of late night activity is what you're after, you might want to consider this one before you make the move. Number 4, and I want you to take this seriously, no matter what city you come from, this is something people miss. Raleigh is the type of area where you're going to need a car, not as a backup, not just for the weekends, but for everyday living. When we moved from Southern California, this was a bit of a shock. You do have to have a car in Southern California, but there was a lot of walkability to the local stores, the local chiropractor, all of that actually had walkability to us. Depending on which area you live in Raleigh, you're almost guaranteed to not have walkability. If it's a 10-minute drive, it's a half-hour walk. Most people don't want to make that walk. The city does have some transit infrastructure, but I can tell you there's no buses. They're very rare around the area. Most people are not relying on public transportation to get to work. And so they're not running at the times when people need to get to a place. And most shopping and stuff like that just can't be done on public transportation here. And here's why this matters most above and beyond the inconvenience. It matters because you need to budget this in. You will be spending more on gas. Fortunately, it's a little bit less expensive here than a lot of other states, but you will be using your gas and your car a lot more often to get around to all the places you need to go if you live here in Raleigh. I will say this too, on a map, things can just look a lot closer together than they really are. I look at the map all the time and think that looks like a 10-minute drive. It's usually a 20-minute drive, especially if you run into the next thing, which we're going to talk about, and it delays your driving around town. So you're thinking about moving here and you're watching this video to kind of research areas and ideas and find out where you might want to go. Subscribe to our channel and you'll see more videos, and I've made an entire playlist I'll put up right here about what you need to watch before you move to Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to give you as much information as I can and be a resource for you, so check that out. That leads us straight into number 5. Thing number 5 is the traffic has changed, and it's continuing to change. There's a lot of single lane country roads that they paved maybe 20 years ago or 40 years ago that are now stacked with cars during the commuter time. Traffic is a real thing, and you need to be conscious of it if you're trying to get across town or even from town to town during the commuter time. Now, it's not even close to what you're talking about in, say, LA or New York or Atlanta, but it gets real here when there's only one lane on the road. So even just to get down the road and make a right-hand turn, you have to wait for everybody in front of you to get through. Down here in this Fuquay area where we're filming right now, there's a BP gas station that is like a right-hand turn lane because everybody will cut through the gas station to get around the turn. So it's real. The good news is 440 and 540 have been built out. They've recently expanded these major highways that go around Raleigh. 540 is a brand new highway it's large. It's like 4 lanes and hardly anybody uses it. It is a toll road right now, but worth every dime if you're wanting to get around the city quickly. So obviously the traffic depends a lot on where you're living and where you need to go. Where is your commute? I hear this a lot from people coming into town and buying, I need to be 30 minutes from X. Well, we have to dig into that. Does that mean 30 minutes commuter time or 30 minutes in the middle of the day? Because that can be a very big difference. If you're moving here and you're going to be working in Research Triangle Park, you want to make sure you research the area that you're living in, do a Google on it, and also Google Map with the time of day that you're going to be traveling. You know, if you want to know the worst, it'll be Friday afternoon, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Look up that time and you can actually see how long it's going to take you to get home. Now for us, we actually have some back roads that we recommend to clients to get from one town to the next. So you're not stuck on the main roads waiting for everybody else who's going home. We're happy to share those with you when you get in touch with us. Picking the right neighborhood is what I work through with people in order to help them locate in the right neighborhood. It makes all the difference to how much you're going to enjoy where you live. The weather is unpredictable. I'm about to show you in a second what I mean by that. We have all 4 seasons here. None of them are very extreme. We don't have a lot of snow in Raleigh, North Carolina. Parts of North Carolina, especially in the mountains, get a ton of snow, but we don't really need a snow shovel down here. So what Raleigh does have is almost a weather system that has a mind of its own. You might have a week in February with 68-degree weather. 3 days later, you might get an ice storm. We just had it this year that shuts the city down. People are rushing to Home Depot to buy generators, filling up gas tanks, making sure they have batteries for their flashlights and food to eat and all that, because all of a sudden a weather system will just blow through Raleigh. I relocated from California and I genuinely didn't know what to expect. The first year we were here, we had 2 power outages. The second year, we were definitely more prepared. We got a bigger generator and a lot more gasoline so we wouldn't be out of power. Good part is Duke Energy, who runs most of the electricity in the area, they're very efficient. They do a great job when they can. But if you're in an ice storm, they actually won't let the trucks drive out on the road. They'll say, nope, nobody's allowed to drive, it's too dangerous. So that's something to be aware of. Spring does the same thing. On a Tuesday, it might be 78 degrees, and on Saturday, it might drop down into the 40s. If you don't believe me, I brought up the weather app on my phone, and I wanna show you, hopefully this camera will get it. This is Raleigh, 1 week right now. At the top, you can see today, we had 34 degrees at night and 65 degrees in the morning. I think that's gonna come through clear. On Friday, 2 days from now, just 2 days, 48 hours, it's gonna be 57 degrees and rainy at night and 85 degrees during the day. Right there. And if you look at it, it goes 65, 77, 85, 57. I mean, it's just like, 63, then 73, then up to 80, then up to 84, 84, 83. And it's not just transitional during the seasons. It's not like, oh, we're going from winter to spring. It's like, you just never know when the weather is going to completely turn. Some of the crazier stuff I've experienced are the storms during the summer. When the humidity goes straight up to like 95%, you're basically sweating all the time. And the rain comes down and it's like this hot tropical rain. It's just insane. Meanwhile, it's 90 degrees outside. It's just the best of everything. That was sarcasm. But you get what I'm saying, kind of need to be prepared for that with the weather changing pretty rapidly. So you adapt, right? The weather's gonna change. Make sure you have a jacket in your car, have a rain slick and an umbrella handy just in case a rainstorm rolls in the afternoon. The weatherman recently said, hey, this is your weather report for 6 o'clock in the morning. When you go out today, take your jacket with you. Well, I got up, I had shorts on. It was, a mild 75 degrees. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was raining and like 45 degrees out. So a storm came in, closed off the sun, poured down rain and changed the weather system. It was nuts. And sure enough, that guy was right. I should have brought a jacket with me, but instead I was cold by the afternoon and covered in rain and soaked. So yeah, be prepared, check the weather. It's kind of exciting because you get to check the weather every day to find out what's it gonna do. Also, don't trust the weatherman. So check the weather, don't trust the weatherman. Before I move to number 7, which is a big, big deal. The weather genuinely to me is fun and enjoyable most of the year. Do I like it when it's really, really hot and sweaty in the depth of August? Not really. I stay inside, run the air conditioner all day. And cold and rainy ice storm things, well, it's a good excuse to stay home. Kids probably aren't going to school and you'll be able to just hole up and have some hot cocoa or tea or something at home, watch some movies. It's a great excuse not to do any work. Number 7, and this is connected to everything that we've talked about, growth is constant here. This is not a new neighborhood is going in nearby kind of growth. This is sustained, long-term, decades-long expansion that touches almost every part of daily life. There's always something being built. New homes are a constant. Roads are being widened, which means they're under construction for a year and then they're widened and opened back up. Your GPS routing might change because there's a new road going in. The new road was opened and now it's become a construction zone. And these are kind of normal everyday things. Hopefully your GPS and your maps will tell you when there's a traffic jam, and if you see red, avoid it. We do know back routes and ways to get around most of the places, so it might be worth talking to us to find out before you move to Raleigh. The growth here in Raleigh is actually something that comes up on the good list. And the reason it does is because a lot of people are moving here for that very reason. They see growth in the job market. They see growth in industry and in economy in the area. So rather than moving to a place where the economy is taking a downturn, they move to an area that's expanding. The Raleigh of 2026, 27, 28 is going to be so much better and bigger expanded than it was even 5-6 years ago. But you're coming into the process in the middle of it, in the middle of the growth and expansion. When will it stop? We don't know. Right now, there's estimated 100 people moving into Raleigh every day. Raleigh is a city that's actively becoming a better version of itself. If you can lean into that, enjoy it, find the places that you love and the areas that you love, you can actually enjoy this process. That actually leads us right into thing number 8. Thing number 8 is that the cost of living is not low here anymore. I actually made a video. I'm gonna post right up here a little link that you can check out. The cost of living in Raleigh in 2026. We talk about gas prices, food prices, etc. As I mentioned, thing number 8 is something that gets a lot of people by surprise, and that's that the cost of living is not low here anymore. Now, I want to separate this away from housing, which gets its own segment in a second. This separates your cost of living no matter where you live in the area. Groceries in the Raleigh area are at the national average or in some cases above, depends on where you shop. A good tip on that is that Harris Teeter and Publix, Lowe's, they might be a little bit higher for your food costs. Places like Food Lion will be lower in cost. Eating out experience has gotten more expensive too. A good example is a meal and a drink out is no longer a $40 experience here. And as we know with COVID, the cost of almost everything went up over time. Gas prices run about a little bit below the national average according to the AAA website. And groceries are about average, not much lower. Definitely lower than what you're looking at in, say, a place like California, Hawaii, New York. They do charge higher numbers there. So your utilities are going to change according to the season for sure. And basically you can start to see that in the winter for sure with the winter heating prices going up. We found our bills went almost up to $450 during the coldest. We had a cold streak of several weeks of like close to 30s to 40s weather. And that's when the bills went up. Now, other times of the year, it's about 140. And we have a pretty good sized house, 3,000 square feet. That's not very much for heating costs and air conditioning costs. Of course, if you're switching from gas to electric, all of that's going to make a difference at different seasons. Practical takeaway is to run a realistic budget and a realistic assessment of what you think it's going to cost to live here. Don't rely on the Raleigh is affordable kind of attitude, because that's not always true. I actually talked to somebody who spends about several $1,000s on childcare because they don't have a school for their kid yet. They're below school age and both parents work. So those costs can really add up for you. We have a preschool that we put our kids into. It's not full-time, and we pay about $350 a month. So not too bad. Of course, again, that's not full-time. So these are all factors that you're going to want to put in. Your gas price, how much driving are you doing? Do I need a car wherever I'm going? Well, I'm going to have more maintenance cost on that. And, do I like to be warm in the winter? Those kinds of things are all going to factor in. I think, just to give you a reference, my average electrical price, it's on my other video, for the year, average for 2025 was $233 a month. So compare that to your average. Now that's taking all the months together and averaging them. See how that averages compared to where you're moving from. I'm gonna tell you, we have one more left. This is the one that comes up in every conversation I have about anybody who's seriously thinking about making the move. It did not used to be this way, but it is now. Before I get there, if this kind of straight talk is useful for you, subscribe to our channel. Thanks. Number 9, and you guessed it, thing number 9 is housing. We talked about growth, we talked about expansion, we talked about traffic, you need a car here, we talked about a lot of different things. Housing is continuing to go up. The price of housing, I believe the median home price in Wake County is $450, but that includes low-end and very high-end homes, and that's the median price. Okay, so are you going to pay $450 for a house in Cary? No, you're going to pay $650 or more for a house in Cary, or in the highly desirable areas like downtown Raleigh. You pay way more for a downtown address. They call that inside the belt line, and so inside the belt line's more expensive. Can you buy a house for $450? Yeah, you can, and actually under that, you could probably get away with $400,000 for a house if you're willing to drive a little bit outside of town. But overall, the prices have gone up. Rents do continue to go up. I think we put the average of a 2,000 square foot rent at about $2,000. Depends on where you are. Again, you're going to want to scope out what areas, if it's important to you, what your budget looks like, and scope out what areas are going to be affordable for you or fit into your budget before you move here. That's something we go through with our clients. So obviously watch our channel and figure out if we're a fit for you, and then give us a call. Here's what this means also for people who might be watching this right now. If you need to sell a home and then move and buy a home all at the same time, that takes a lot of coordination. You need to run it with current numbers and not make assumptions. If you're a first-time buyer and you're moving to the Raleigh area and you're hoping to get something that's affordable, competition is real, you're going to want to suss out and research what's the best area for you to be buying in. Get a real mortgage payment. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. The mortgage payment that Zillow tells you or other websites might not be accurate for what you're going to pay month after month for that house. Also, taxes are different depending on what county you're in and if you're living in a city. So for instance, Cary will add 35 cents tax on every $100 and et cetera, et cetera. So you might be paying more in those areas. You might get some benefits out of that, like trash pickup or leaf pickup, but is it worth it for you to move into that address? None of this is a reason not to move, and plenty of people know that and still come here every day. Subscribe to the channel and watch more of our videos. Up next is a playlist, and it will be very valuable for you to take a look at before you make the move or before you even start making your plans. My name is Chris Pacilio, and I'm a local real estate expert and real estate agent here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I relocated, and I can help you avoid the pitfalls. Subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.